Welcome back to the Top Notch Documentaries YouTube channel. Israel Keyes was becoming more and more depressed as the year 2011 was coming to a close. His life as an elusive serial killer was nearing an end, and his strange behaviour was becoming much more noticed. For this Israel Keyes video, I'll be reading some of the insightful and disturbing events in the months prior to the Samantha Koenig abduction and murder. These events showcase Keyes acting odd, and they took place in December 2011 and January of 2012. I hope you enjoy. Keyes had made the comment in December of 2011 that finding work was much more difficult and he was depressed. The cause of this depression stemmed from the long Alaskan winter, according to Keyes, and Keyes was much less interested in working at this point. He was still drinking plenty of alcohol, which presumably only made his mind state much worse than it already was. The years of victimising people may have been getting to his psyche, with hints of this having been mentioned during encounters with his family, both before this event and during his February Texas trip in 2012. There's actually a condition known as seasonal affective disorder, whereby a lack of sunlight causes depressive symptoms. The seasonal shift is swift, and the sunlight leading to more serotonin in the summer leads to more melatonin in the winter. Many Alaskans managed to get through the changing seasons perfectly fine, but Keyes was struggling. He increased his alcohol consumption and made the comment that the only reason that he was getting out of bed every morning was because of his daughter. Not being able to get out of bed, relationship problems arising, and alcohol consumption are all problems which Keyes was going through at the time, and these are all exhibited by those with seasonal affective disorder. It is unclear whether Kimberly, Keyes' partner, was struggling with the same issues as Keyes, as in drinking problems, but Keyes appears concerned when she doesn't return home on multiple occasions. Let's move on to the event which displayed Keyes' oddest behaviour. This event took place sometime in January 2012. Keyes' daughter had stumbled upon her dad and had texted her mother. She was freaked out. There were cuts in the curtains and couch at Kimberly's home, and Keyes had punched a hole in the wall. Keyes had been overheard by his daughter on the phone at 3 AM. He'd been asking Kimberly when she'd be returning home. On getting in contact with Keyes, Tammy, Keyes' ex-partner, would discuss the event with Keyes. He brushed the event off. Everything was fine, and he told her not to worry. His daughter had overreacted, but she didn't believe him. Keyes had used a knife to cut the curtains, and it had been found on the table. Was Keyes damaging the home as a means to cope or manage his violent urges? Punching holes in the walls isn't all that uncommon. It signifies that a person has little coping skills. Keyes definitely fits into this category. It wouldn't be long before another event, this time with a woman who had hired Keyes to do work at her home, would stand out. Keyes never showed up to work at her house, and on calling him he didn't get in touch. Keyes must have been trustworthy because the woman drove to Kimberly's house and knocked on the door. Keyes answered the door, the stench of alcohol radiating from him. He was as described in the Cleburne parking lot, dishevelled and completely gone. His eyes detached from reality and life itself. The woman asked if Keyes was okay, given the fact that he hadn't shown up to work at her house like he'd always done before. His uncharacteristic behaviour worried her. It's just the Alaska winters, they've got me down. A week later, he kidnapped and murdered Samantha Koenig. At the end of the day, I don't believe that all of the blame can be placed on depression resulting from the Alaskan winter and lack of sunlight exposure. It could have contributed to Keyes' life slowing down as work became less frequent and his drinking intensified, but he had already been actively killing people for many years by this point. The damage to his psyche had already been done. His past crimes, drinking and other problems only culminated in the downward spiral resulting in Samantha Koenig's murder. His odd behaviour in the months leading up to Samantha's murder are certainly troublesome, and they provide a very damaging look into the mind state of Keyes. All of his self-destructive behaviour completely contrasted his previous outward projections of normality to the people who he did work for and his family. He truly was an evil person, portraying two completely different people to society. This has been the odd behaviour leading up to the kidnap and murder of Samantha Koenig. As always, thank you for watching.